Hi there, Cosmic Family. My name is Jahliali. In this incarnation, I am here today to talk about the solar eclipse in Aries that we are going to have on March 29th. So, solar eclipses happen when the moon is interposing between the earth and the sun. In this case, it is going to cover partially its light. So, this requires a little bit of strength of force to this event, but we are going to feel it anyways because of the general transits and because we have the tendency to feel solar eclipses more. So it is considered a north node eclipse. It is partial because it is quite away, far from the node that is in the degree 27, 26, depending on the method of calculation of Pisces. And it is the last one of the Aries Libra series. These energies that we have been experimenting officially from July of 2023 to January of this 2025. So it is ending the cycle that we have been experiencing in those areas of our natal chart, but all solar eclipses are new moons, so it is also opening a process of 6 months, and what is initiating parts from the things that we have integrated in that time, but also we are moving forward to very unknown experiences because the day after Neptune is going to enter in the degree 0 of Aries for the first time in more than 160 years. So we can expect great changes in this new phase. That are not going to be given, of course. There will be manifestations during these days, but this is not about the eclipse day. This is about the next months, years. Something is being born in a very powerful way. So solar eclipses are linked with a transformation in relation of those things that we have made identity, and also in those things that we believed we were aware. The light is eclipsed, so the experience can take us to a new revelation of who we are. Lunar eclipses are much more linked with emotional processes and experiences that we feel familiar, but both are a cut to give a space to the new. So people that have cardinal rising planets in the degrees 4 of or 5 degrees after or before of the 9-1 in cardinal signs, Cancer, Aries, Libra, Capricorn, they are going to feel it a lot, but we are all going to feel this eclipse. So okay, let's talk about the energy of Aries, and then I speak about the aspects. So we're talking about fire in here. This is about the aggressiveness. Aggressiveness is the force that help us to move forward, the one that we use to act, but also it could transform in violence when it is in an imbalance. So this is about the born of a new experience, action, focus, desire, because the ruler is Mars, courage, independence, leadership. Also Aries rules the head. This I am saying because it could appear symptoms, and that is energy that is not circulating among other things. So this event is taking us to the questioning of our identities, to the perceptions with which we have identified, the questioning of what we really want, the directions that we want to assume. By that moment, Venus is going to stay in Pisces. It is retrograde. Let's remember. But this transit, these days in the passage until the eclipse, we have the Sun that enters tomorrow in Aries, Mercury and Venus all retrograde. This means that we are reevaluating, and life is pushing us to do so. The passage, the way that brought us to this point, and if we are putting true focus and energy in things that are in true coherence with who we are in the present moment. If we are following mandates, perhaps, that are dictating the mind, but actually they are external because they belong to programmings that we have acquired. If we are keeping us in spaces, in paths, or in dynamics for fear of being who we are, to open our way in the world in a very different way that lead us to break with the paradigms that we have learned. So this will imply for many people to deal with the anger and the frustration that that mean, insisting in something that is not for oneself, because it is not part of the purpose of the soul. And this is something very, very associated with Neptune in Aries, because even if it's now in Pisces, we are already feeling that energy. Aries is this capacity to, to fall, to, hit ourselves and rising again, but also in its shadow, it is like being blind and following a direction because our ego desires that. And there could be a shock with their reality, and accidents are part of the Aryan energy. I am talking about falls, cuts, fire, these kind of things. I am mentioning this only to approach things with presence, because with Aryan energy there is a tendency to accidents, but I am talking more in a symbolic way. We could experiment life in that way, life not allowing us to continue in the same direction or the same dynamics that are not serving us anymore. And the more that we are attached to spaces and ways that are not a part of our path, of our divine purpose, the more that we are going to experience anger and suffering. So it is also important to give a space and to channel those emotions, because they are going to explode in situations that perhaps it is not corresponding. So with the energy of Neptune, it could also activate mechanisms of confusion, internal chaos. And all of this occurs because there is something new that our intuitive voice is trying to emit, and we are not identifying that or accepting that. But Neptune in here, it is this calling to surrender, to dissolve whatever thing you thought you were identifying, to open to a new way of moving forward into the world that responds much more to the connection with the soul. And this is not something that only will contribute with our own lives. This contributes with the collective redemption in the great scheme, even if many times we are not able to perceive the great scheme, because each one of us, we are perceiving the reality through our identities, through the things that we have learned, through the I am. But the more that we are moving forward in our spiritual path, the more capacity that we develop to perceive unity in the experience, and we transcend the dualities to position ourselves in I am the good person and there is the bad person, to understand that what we are judging negative and actually causes a lot of anger in us, it is showing us the shadow, the things that are in shadow and that we need to integrate. And this is a process. This is not something that we can accelerate, but not neither stopping that. So in fact, regulating velocity is something that it is also part of this process. Yesterday, I was saying people that have the tendency to be impulsive, they are going to, think things more. They are going to slow down. They're going to have to slow down. And for other people that are more resistant to move or to initiate, they are going to have the calling to do those things. So it could manifest the anger for the denials of our inner voice. Conflicts outside that are reflecting our internal wars. People that are in imbalances with their aggressiveness, they are not channeling perhaps their strength of moving forward in things that are actually contributing, and all of that can turn into violence. Of course, this could have a reflection in the collective in the same ways that we already know. There are more of the pattern of not a well-directed energy in our world. So every battle that we feel as a battle, it is because we are fighting with ourselves, and because we are not getting to unify internally. Even if we are projecting that energy in an external situation or in another person, and it's part of life to go through that. But there are battles that are really worth it, the effort. I am mixing the languages with the Spanish. They are worth the effort to face the challenges. And there are other battles that respond more to the most childish part of the human being, which is wanting to win, wanting to impose ourselves, wanting to be right. So it are good questions there are good questions that we can do, and they are, for what, from which place I am doing what I am doing, with which purpose. Because it is also important to have the courage to see through the justifications of self-deceits that the mind can impulse, and to recognize that there are certain actions that are being born from a deviation of our heart, from entering in a fight when we are driving the car. It is something very Aryan, in the transit, or until two decisions that we need to do in our life, to make in our life. So this is a detection in the present moment. And well, it is also a moment to observe what we need to re-equilibrate in relation to the autonomy and the independence, to exercise that in healthy ways. It is possible for some people, for example, to having to recognize that what the ego tells them, that it is preventing them from moving forward, is actually the energy that those people are deciding to give to people and situations that are not helping us to not helping them to move forward, because perhaps they have generated emotional dependencies. They are giving the power to those external things. That could be extended to resources and whatever thing in the matter. And perhaps this is now time to give a cut. This is the energy of Mars. Mars is in Cancer, the ruler, and wants to move in experiences that are truly nourishing, that are generating internal stability and the sensation of home. So for other people, it is about recognizing that there could be areas in their life that they are exercising a very authoritarian dynamic, a very impositive dynamic. They are not giving a space to the independence of others, or they are not helping to cultivate that in a very unconscious way. This could respond to relationships, or literally there could be people that are occupying leadership role in some level. So if we are not operating for the independence and the growth of others, we cannot obtain balance. We cannot obtain that, because we are going to drain ourselves, because we are going to attract dependent adults that they are not able to solve things in their own. And also, there are a lot of people that, for programmings and things that they have experimented that perhaps were very painful, they had to assume these roles in life, and they feel that they have to do everything, taking all the initiatives, being in charge of everything, and that actually is an emotional wound in which they have made identity. And even if it's uncomfortable, it is a moment to free ourselves from all of that, and to let us be sustained. It is just that many times, let us be sustained. It is not only in the ways that we are desiring. Much of the energy of Neptune and every transpersonal planet, it is about letting go of control. So this is the last thing that I wanted to comment, because Mars in Cancer, this is for you to see the great scheme of the chart of this event. Mars is in Cancer, Venus is in Pisces, Venus is in Pisces in conjunction with the North Node, Neptune is entering in Aries. This is all energy of water. And even if Aries is fire and masculine, we are being called to rebalance our feminine and masculine energies. And in some way, the sky is telling us that this is not a movement that we are doing without thinking. This is not, this is Sparta from the film 300. This is actions that are intuitive, actions that are being born from the heart, with soul connected to the spirit. And even if this implies radical cuts that we decide or that life brings, boundaries that we need to establish or accept, this also, it is about opening ourselves to new creative possibilities, very innovative ones, because Mars in Cancer is creating this minor grand trine with Uranus and with Saturn in Pisces. The focal point, the apex, it is Uranus. So these all are harmonic aspects. And Mercury, it is still creating a harmonic aspect with Pluto in Aquarius. So this also could be linked with something that is being opened to operate in a team, in a community with other people, each one doing its part. This is, mainly approaching our own spiritual path in regarding to the society and the community, the great community that we are all part. So Mercury in a sextile with Planet Aquarius could also be about connecting with ideas that are very, very new for us. So the key in here with Mars creating these harmonic aspects with Saturn and Uranus, it is that this represents the commitment that we need to assume with the changes that are impacting us in the long term. They could be uncomfortable now, but they are greatly positive for our path, while we can sustain them. So I'm going to end this video here. Thank you, everyone. See you in the next one. Ciao, ciao.